Hi guys, welcome back to my channel and welcome back to another book review video. This is the first one of 2022, so these are all the books that I read in January. I am just getting back into the swing of things as far as reading. Sometimes I can get to a point where I'm just not really into it, and that's kind of how December kind of was after reading all the holiday books. I kind of got like, I don't know, I had to take a little bit of a break. So my goal though for the year again is 48 books. About an average of 4 books a month, which that's what I read in January, were 4 books. In my book reviews, I will give you the rating for Goodreads. That was on request from many people based on the time that I'm filming this, because obviously the Goodreads ratings do fluctuate depending on how many people are rating them at that time. So this is the Goodreads rating at the time of filming this, and then I'll give you my rating. I'll give you the synopsis that is on Goodreads, and then I'll kind of just give you my thoughts on it. These are no spoilers. What I do tell you is what is either on the back of the book, or like if you go on Amazon you can read the synopsis, or like on Goodreads. These books are in order of how I read them, not but how much I liked them. I actually liked all the books this month. I did not have any duds at all. If you guys are new to my channel, I will have all of the books listed down below in the description box, links to the Goodreads and also links to Amazon, and I'll let you know if I found it like on Kindle Unlimited. I do participate in Kindle Unlimited. I pay $9.99 a month for it, and then you have a humongous selection of books to read and magazines. I do read quite a few of the magazines on there. Also, you can get free books through Prime Reading if you did not know that. So I usually have links for both of those down below. And then some of the books I just pick up at the local library through like the ebook system, or I do buy some of them. Sometimes I'll have credits from purchasing things on Amazon, and I get digital credits, and I also get some credits sometimes through Apple Books. So anyway, I will have all that information down below. So let's go ahead and go into the first book that I've read this year, and that one was called What She Did by Carla Kovach. I think that's how you say it. The Goodreads rating was 3.80 at the time of filming, and my rating is 5 stars. Now, I am a huge Carla Kovach fan. Huge. I have actually read I've actually read and reviewed 4 of her Detective Gina Hart series. So if you want to check any of those book reviews out, I will have a link down below to my whole playlist of book reviews. So here's a synopsis of this book. This is a whole different series. This is not part of the Detective Gina Hart series. This is a completely different series. Actually, this is a standalone book, I believe, from my understanding. So here's a synopsis as told by the lead character, Marissa. I live a small life, a 1-bedroom apartment, clothes that help me blend into the background. Just a few friends who don't know my whole story. Everything has to be simple, ordered, in its place. It gives me the illusion that I'm in control, even though I know I never can be. 20 years ago, I lost everyone I ever loved, and they say it was all my fault. I've tried to make sure I could never hurt anyone again, but it's hard to live any kind of life without letting anyone get close to me. And then come the sirens, the knock at the door. If I'd done something terrible, I would know, wouldn't I? So there's a synopsis of it. I do always have my notes right here in front of me as well, because I'll get them all mixed up if I don't look at my notes. Again, I'm a huge fan of this author's writing style. I love how she draws you into her story. Her books always keep me interested from beginning to end, and this book was definitely no different at all. It jumps right into the action, and we start learning about Marissa's past and her present. There's tons of twists and turns, definitely kept my attention, kept me guessing throughout this entire book. It was really creepy in some parts, it was dark, it was suspenseful. This book goes back and forth between past to present, but I felt like it was very well, it flowed really, really well, and it was easy to follow. Sometimes, you'll read a book when it's switching back and forth like that. I have to go scroll back to see where, okay, are we in the present or are we in the past? It can get very confusing, but this one is very clear if you're in past or present, and it was really easy, super easy to follow. As I said earlier, I've read quite a few books by this author. This book actually though was more on the psychological thriller side compared to her other books that I've read, which were all crime novels. which I think is what a lot of her books are just like crime novels. And this one, though, definitely had that psychological thriller suspense side to it. It definitely was a little bit creepier and darker than her other novels that I've read. I highly recommend this one and any other from this author. I think you guys will really, really enjoy this author. So definitely check out this book. I don't want to tell you anything more because really you have to like go into this book not knowing anything. Book number 2 was The Good Sister by Sally Hepworth. The Goodreads rating at the time of the filming is 4.19. My rating is 4 stars. This is actually my second Sally Hepworth book. I previously read The Mother-in-Law, which I gave 5 stars. I absolutely loved that book. And at the time of filming this video, I am currently reading The Family Next Door, also by this author. Here's the synopsis from Goodreads. There's only been one time that Rose couldn't stop me from doing the wrong thing, and that was a mistake that will haunt me for the rest of my life. Fern Castle works in her local library. She has dinner with her twin sister Rose 3 nights a week. She avoids crowds, bright lights, and loud noises as much as possible. Fern has carefully structured life, and disrupting her routine can be dangerous. When Rose discovers that she cannot get pregnant, Fern sees her chance to pay her sister back for everything Rose has done for her. Fern can have a baby for Rose. She just needs to find a father. So Fern's mission totally shakes the foundations of her life. She has carefully built for herself. And she is going to stir up dark secrets from her past. She's quirky. I loved Fern's character. She was so quirky. There's so many like hidden family secrets, which I love books that have like those kind of hidden family secrets like that. But I did really find myself on the fence about this one. The story alternates between the twin sisters. I don't think I was mentioned that they're fraternal twin sisters. But it alternates between the two of them. This book was a huge page turner, and it was definitely a fast read, but I was just a bit let down by the predictability. I felt like the ending was really super rushed, and I just feel like I just had it all figured out by the end. But the writing on this is so good that I couldn't go less than 4 stars. You guys normally know that I'll do like 3.5 stars, 3.5 stars if it's a very, very predictable book. But this author she just writes the most amazing, complicated characters. And that's definitely what saved this book for me, because I just felt like the mystery wasn't quite as engaging as the first book that I read from this author. Fern was easily my favorite character, but the dynamics between these two sisters was so interesting, and I believe it would be super believable for being twin sisters. I really think that it was a really good portrayal of what they would really be like. Overall, I do recommend giving this book a try, especially if you are a fan of Sally Hepworth. I think you'll like it. Like I said, it's just really predictable, but it just, like I said, the writing of this book just definitely saved it in those characters. All of the characters, you'll just love them. Book number 3 was The Family Across the Street by Nicole Trope. I guess this book was also published under Home Sweet Home originally, and then she changed the name, which I don't know if that's usual. I don't know, because this was a newer book. I think it came out in 2020, so to change the name like within the same year you released it, just seems weird. Actually, it's 2022, so I guess it wasn't within the same year. I don't know when the name was changed. Anyway, the Goodreads rating is 4.13. My rating is 4.5 stars. We'll be talking a lot about that here in a second. This is the first book I've read by this author. I believe I have 1 or 2 of her books on my TBR list. I think she has one coming out in the next couple of months that sounds really good. So we'll see. We'll see if I give it a chance. But here is the synopsis from this book. Everyone wants to live on Hogarth Street. The pretty tree-lined avenue with its white houses, the new family, the Wests, are a perfect fit. Catherine and John seem so in love, and their gorgeous 5-year-old twins race screeching around their beautiful emerald lawn. But soon people start to notice. Why don't they join backyard barbecues? Why do they brush away offers to babysit? Why, when you knock at the door, do they shut you out rather than inviting you in? Every family has secrets. On the hottest day of the year, the truth is about to come out. As a tragedy unfolds behind closed doors, the dawn chorus is split by the wall of sirens, and one by one the families who tried so hard to welcome the West begin to realize Hogarth Street will never be the same again. Okay, now that I read you that synopsis, you can ignore it, because it really has nothing to do with what this book is about. Nothing. there are no mentions in this book about them. Like, it's not that maybe I missed it. I do tend to skim sometimes over some things, but not usually with like mystery thriller novels, because there's not like a lot of like setting up the setting, which is where I tend to skim over things. But there's no mention of them like not joining barbecues. I mean, nothing about them shutting others out. I mean, they don't really even talk about them at all. It's super weird that this whole synopsis sets you up for like a totally, completely different book than what it is. It was very odd for me. And I even like, as I was reading it, I don't know, I was kind of just kept bothered by that, which I know a lot of people don't read synopsis of books, but because I read so much, and I'm like always like wondering what book to read next, the synopsis is always very important to me. So I don't know, it's very strange that it would be completely different. But let me tell you, this book is very, very, very well written. It has it has the most vivid descriptions, and this writer, she is very manipulative. Like, she can really get you to start thinking one thing and it's a completely different other thing. So the manipulation in this book it was pretty dang amazing. Like, it was really good. Maybe that's the whole part of it, I don't know. But this story, it totally jumps right in from the very start. It's set in Australia, so it's like December, but it's like summertime, and this is the hottest day of the year, which is described very, very well and makes the whole like situation that's going on just so much more believable. It's very crazy. I don't know. But the story, like I said, the story jumps right in from the start, that something is happening inside the West house. So this book is told, and I believe it's 4 different point of views. I think we have 2 different point of views from people inside the house, and then you have 2 different point of views from people outside the house. So it's really interesting. So you're having like this like really super tense and stressful situation going on inside the house. And then you have these 2 people outside the house that are trying to figure out what is going on. But it's just totally different situations going on, but it's all like wrapped up into this one story. So it's very interesting to read. It's totally different than anything I've ever read before. One of the characters, Logan, though, he's on the outside. He just seems so out of place for the majority of this book that I actually had trouble like getting engaged in his story. And then when he started being tied in with the rest of the characters, then I have to admit, like, I didn't really, since I didn't pay attention much to the beginning, it was really hard for me to like remember or even like care about what was going on, because I wasn't engaged, because he just didn't fit. I don't know, it was super weird. But it all ties up in a neat little bow like towards the end. But overall, I really did enjoy reading the characters and seeing their story come together from different points of view. I also liked how each chapter, like each of their different like little sections, it ended in a cliffhanger, which made it really hard to put down. I mean, there's some books that you get to like a stopping point. That's why I always say I get to like a stopping point, and then I can put it down and pick it up later on the next day or the morning or whatever. But it was really hard to find that stopping point, because every single chapter, you couldn't just stop, because you had to know what was going to happen next. The author was very good about that. Very, very good. But definitely the best part of this book was the twist at the end. It was huge. Huge, huge, huge. And I definitely didn't see it coming. I was constantly trying to figure it out, but I didn't even come close to it at the end. I mean, it was just an absolutely amazing and brilliant ending. Again, the reason why it wasn't 5 stars is just that synopsis was a little misleading, and just like it took a while to be able to connect the characters all together. So like the 4 different characters, trying to get them all connected, because that twist is what brings them all together. So you don't really get all that until towards like the very end. But definitely a good book. I'll definitely pick something up from this author, because I was just definitely impressed by how she wrote. And the 4th book I read for the month was called Cross Her Heart by Melinda Lee. The Goodreads rating was 4.28 at the time of filming, and my rating was 5 stars. So I found this book on Kindle Unlimited. Again, I talked about that earlier. This author writes a lot of books. Like, when I looked her up, man, she writes like 2 or 3 a year, if not more sometimes. Different series. There's a few, I think she has like a few different series that she has written. I don't know if they're ongoing or if she like finishes and first starts a new one. I haven't really investigated it that much. But this particular book was the very first book in the Bree Taggart series. Definitely plan to continue reading the series, and I actually was going to pick the next one up, but I wanted to be a little more diverse in my reading, and not just because otherwise I would just read all the books in this series and just continue on. But I like to you guys know I like to just be a little bit more diverse in my reading. So this book follows Detective Bree Taggart. For more than 25 years, a Philly homicide detective, Bree Taggart, has tucked away her nightmarish childhood memories of her parents' murder-suicide until her younger sister Erin is killed in a crime that echoes that tragic night. Innocent witnesses and a storied marriage that ended in gunfire. There's just one chilling difference. Erin's husband, Justin, has vanished. I absolutely love this book. This was definitely the most perfect, like cozy. It's like one of those cozy mystery crime novels. There was a little bit of romance weaved in, which is what I love about these types of books. But it was just enough, but not enough not to like take away from it being like a crime mystery novel. But this one actually had a decent amount of suspense in it as well, which was really, really nice. Bree Taggart is an absolutely amazing character. I love that she's super strong-willed. She's very independent, but yet she has flaws, so she's not like perfect. And I just love how those flaws kind of come through within the story. She teams up with Matt Flynn. Matt is a former deputy there at her hometown, and he's also best friends with her sister's missing husband, Justin. Matt wants to find his friend and clear his name, so they decide to work together. And I love how they feed off each other's experiences. They have totally different working styles and definitely different like backgrounds and experiences. So it just makes for a really, really good working experience because they just kind of bounce off of each other and feed off of each other, which just to me is just super believable. If you're taking a couple different like detectives or police officers working together, I feel like this is what you would get, the best of kind of both worlds. We also meet Dana, who is Bree's partner on the police force, but Dana is retiring at the time when all this happens. So she comes and she helps Bree with some of the things that are going on. But the relationship between those two is so amazing. And I believe it's so realistic how two people would be working together as detectives. I just imagine, like, I watch a lot of crime shows and I read a lot of those kind of things, and I feel like their characters and relationship is exactly how I've seen portrayed on other like things. So whether it's real or not, it's how I view this type of thing. So it would definitely to me seemed believable, and it was very, very interesting. And I hope they kind of alluded that it seems like we're going to see Dana in the future like series, and I think that's great. I think that's going to be like something I really love. So I hope they keep her around for a while. This book definitely kept me guessing until the end. It was twists and turns and kept me on the edge of my seat. I didn't really know who done it, and I loved, like, that's why I love crime novels, because I like to try to figure out who did it and why they did it. But I think you'll definitely, if you're a fan of like crime and mysteries and whodunits, I think you would definitely love this book. I'm also a huge fan of reading series. Mainly because to me it reminds me kind of like of a TV show. So you have these characters and you learn just a little bit of these characters in the book. And I feel like when you just read a standalone novel, you don't get to know about the characters as much as you want. Like, you want to know more. And if this book was just a standalone, this is all you get, I would be really disappointed, because these characters are just so layered. But to like peel away those layers, you're going to need to read more, and this would just be too long of a book to get to know them. So I love that we're going to have like these continuing series to be able to get to know the characters more. And so far there's 7 books in this series, and they all can be found on Kindle Unlimited. So definitely check them out. I don't know how long I don't know how they tend to like come and go on Kindle Unlimited. So after I read the book that I'm reading now, I'm definitely going to read 1 or 2 more of this series, because I don't want to miss it. I don't want them to go away and I can't read anymore. But like I said, this author has a ton of books out there, so let me know if you've ever read anything by her. Be really curious which one I should pick up next after I'm done with this series, if there's another series of books that I should pick up. So anywho, there you go, you guys. There are all the books I read in the month of January. I can now have everything linked down below. Let me know what you guys are reading. If you've read any of these books, let me know what I should pick up. I've been really trying to find like a rom-com, kind of, funny, type of book, but I have not been able to find one that I want to read. I mean, sometimes I spend so much time on Amazon and Kindle Unlimited and just Kindle and the Apple bookstore trying to find some books, and I just cannot find like myself. Like, so I'm just, it's all mystery right now. All these mystery and thrillers right now. I just can't find anything else to read. So let me know if you have any good rom-com books that I haven't read yet, and that ones that you've read. Let me know down in the comment section. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye guys.